Everyone says the future is modular, but are they right? The modular narrative is so loud, so dominant right now that it naturally sows seeds of doubt about its credibility. Is this just a bunch of hype? The short answer is no. We're actually watching an evolution in blockchain architecture, and Secret is right in the middle of it. That's why in the next few minutes we'll talk about a brief shared definition of modular, make sure we understand it and the problems it solves, how Secret's Decentralized Confidential Computation, or DCC, serves modular architecture, and how projects are already live with Secret's DCC as a modular building block. So let's get modular. So far in the evolution of blockchain architecture, we've seen three distinct models. Number one is monolithic. For example, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. A monolithic chain, think of just mono. It's a one-chain show. It wants to be all things to all people until we find out a need that forces us into evolutionary phase number two, hierarchical. Think stacks for Bitcoin, Polygon, Optimism, Arbitrum, and others for Ethereum. These L2s are band-aids for things that aren't working well on the L1. Ethereum or Bitcoin can outsource a problem like TPS or other facets of scalability to a caring and supportive L2. But this third phase in the evolution of blockchain architecture is modular. Think Celestia, Arweave, Akash, Jackal, and Secret. If a monolithic L1 is like forcing someone to eat the same entree at the same restaurant every night for the rest of their life, modular is like parking a bunch of food trucks and diverse cuisine options outside that same restaurant. Modular architecture allows the basic functions of a chain to be separated and farmed out to other specialized blockchains. And that means chains can now mix and match, plug and play. Developers can innovate on specific function that they're interested in, like a new consensus layer maybe, but then use ready-made modules for other functionalities. So let's talk about how DCC is the fifth layer of the modular stack that really upgrades this modular paradigm. In the modular world, chains are no longer limited by their limitations. They can plug into best-in-class components for all these different layers. As you can see here, DCC, confidential execution, confidential computation, it's part of this modular stack. DCC coexists with other transparent execution layers and is employed when some computations need to be done confidentially. Because at least for many use cases, not everyone should see everything. In other words, DCC scales use cases. It releases developers from the limitations of their home chain and allows them to execute on use cases that are simply not possible without confidential data. So if Web3 wants to mature and see globally adopted apps on chain, that's not going to happen with monochromatic data transparency. It will only happen through the efficiencies that a modular stack opens up, including the essential functions of DCC. So where are we in this journey? Well, right now, any EVM or IBC chain can easily plug DCC into their functionality. And we're not talking about someday. It's already live, already happening right now. So how are projects using DCC from Secret at the time of this video? Secret's DCC, it's already in use across multiple chains as a modular building block. One tool devs are leaning on is Secret Path. This trustless bridging protocol enables EVM blockchains to securely pass messages back and forth with Secret Network. And with EVM dApps now capable of utilizing Secret's confidential computation, a whole new world of use cases opens up. For example, GovDAO is a DAO tooling platform on Polygon that offers features like private voting and private treasury management that aren't otherwise possible on Polygon. So how do they do it? It's Secret. The last three Ethereum events globally, ETH Denver, ETH Rome, and ETH Bucharest, the winning infrastructure projects at these hackathons all used Secret contracts. Why? It's ridiculously fast, cheap, encrypted payloads on EVM. But what else could you build with DCC as a modular building block? Think AI modeling plus DCC, decentralized physical infrastructure networks in DCC, real-world assets in DCC. Maybe the simplest question is this: is there a category that doesn't benefit from leveraging confidential data? Go ahead and try to think of one. So what chapter are we in with this story of DCC? Modular is not overhyped. The hype is real. And while the modular stack scales the efficiencies of chains by outsourcing core functions to specialized providers, DCC improves the modular stack and actually scales use cases. It feels like where we are in the story of DCC is early, but not too early. These cross-chain interactions and modular interplay with DCC aren't theoretical. Early adopting and innovative teams have already connected the dots, and dozens of other teams are tinkering behind the scenes, exploring what's possible and building. Because this is quite simply a better way to build. Teams we talk to see it and say it, and if you're enough of a learner to make it to the end of this video, you likely understand the significance as well, because the future is modular, and DCC is the fifth infra layer that not enough people are talking about yet.